day to everyone. We are Group 5 from Media Laws and Ethics Monday tutorial class. I am Shahan with my group members Hang Lam, Hanlik and Tiffany. In this video, we are going to present cases and the changes of law. Let me start with the first case. The first law that we will present is the Printing Presses and Publication Act 1984. We will cover Section 7.1. Under this law, the Minister is able to ban any media that contains any publication content which is or is likely to be detrimental to the public goods or national interest in his absolute restriction. The case that we found related is the Islamic Renaissance Front BHD IRF case. On the 6th of September 2017, the Home Minister ordered to ban 3 books which is published by the IRF under this law. This is because the government think that these 3 books will promote the nation of liberalism which strays from Islam's real principle. So, for the first change of this law, we think that PPPA Section 7.1 should be stated clearly to confirm the determinant instead of likely, because the ministry has the absolute power of banning any media under the original law. The law is vaguely defined that needs to be formulated with a high level of accuracy that people who be charged under this law needs to hit a specific behavior or requirement. For example, the publication has used any specific sensitive or harmful words that have reached a level that will affect the nation's interest. Besides, the second change for the law is that we think that this law could be enforced under a specific situation. For example, when the government charge any media under this law, they will have an examination conducted by a third party to ensure the media really affects the nation's interest. So with the changes, it will be more fair to human rights and freedom of speech. Like what the head of Asia Program Article 19, Matthew Berger said that PPPA is a mechanism for stifling public debate and infringing on religious liberty in excess of 3 decades. That should be reformed, and we totally agree with this.
Thank you, Shahan. Now I'll be talking about the Sedition Act 1948. This law prohibits any publication that contains words that are deemed to have a seditious tendency. Susan Loon is a Malaysia Kini journalist who was arrested under Section 41C of the Sedition Act as one of her publications include a seditious quote. The quote was made by her interviewee Phi Boon Po, where he mentioned how he felt that he was being treated like a criminal during a police questioning. She was accused of defaming the police and was arrested not long after. The first suggestion in changes to the law is that publication of seditious quotes made by someone else and not the publisher themselves should be allowed. They should not be held responsible for quoting what was said by someone else, as those are not words that came directly from the publisher. It also inhibits the freedom of informing and educating the public on country matters, which forces people to hide the truth on what is really happening in the country. This suggestion to change was also reinforced by Benjamin Ismail as shown. Moving on, the second suggestion would be to abolish the imprisonment punishment for sedition. This punishment is too excessive for someone who did not commit any criminal offenses. It instills fear into journalists for speaking up, restricting their freedom of expression in publishing news that the society should know about if it could be deemed seditious. This change was also reinforced by the Advocates Association of Sarawak and the Sabah Law Association, where they mentioned how the mandatory imprisonment of sedition is harsh and the Sedition Act should be abolished. That will be all for the Sedition Act. Now I'll pass the time to Michelle.
Thank you, Tiffany. The next case is the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, also known as the CMA. In Section 233 of the CMA, people are not allowed to share content that is obscene, indecent, false, menacing, or offensive online. In the case of Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki versus anti-corruption activist Lalitha Kunaratnam, Azam brought a suit under the CMA against Lalitha for writing 2 articles in Independent News Service online portal reporting his purchase of stock markets in 2015 that caused a defamation on him as a corrupted civil servant. In our opinion, we think that this is not fair for Lalitha and other journalists, as the CMA creates a barrier for journalists to not post any information that is bad to anyone. Even though the person did do wrong, it's the journalist that needs to face the consequences if they report their wrongdoings. This will only brainwash the public to only think that the government or person is pure good. It will also encourage that person to do more wrongdoings as they will not face the consequences in the end. It is necessary for the public to know all information, whether if it's good or bad. Therefore, our suggestion in changes to CMA is to delete the sentence ban obscene, indecent, false, menacing, or offensive information and change it to ban information that has intention to harm the citizens or the country, like hate speech and cyberbullying. As Dr. Suri 1-90 claims that the media should not face restrictions when reporting. Next, I'll pass it to Henry.
Thanks, Michelle. For Official Secret Act OSA 1972, it provides that anything can be declared a secret, as long as it is someone who is in the public service and has been appointed by a minister. In June 2020, the editor-in-chief of Code Blue, a health news portal, Bu Sulin was summoned under OSA for publishing articles about a 2016 fire at Hospital Sultana Amina in Johor Bahru. She said the March 2020 publication featured declassified findings of the independent probes into the October 2016 fire that killed 6 patients. As a professional journalist, Bu was taking her responsibility to publish all the relevant facts about the hospital fire. To change the law, firstly, it's necessary to show that you were acting with the intention to harm the Malaysia's safety or interest before charging someone under the OSA. Besides, police need to have enough proof to arrest someone instead of just simply having suspension on someone about to commit a crime. Adding on, the judge shouldn't declare it as a secret as the public have the right to know about it. Obviously, Bu did not have any intention to harm the country in any way. Therefore, human rights group, the Center of Independent Journalism (CIJ), exclaimed that OSA threatens media freedom and creates impediments to the access of information. The organizations declared that this is part of a planned and concerted set of acts intended at suppressing the media and limiting the raising of crucial public interest issues. That's all from me, and I will now pass to Michelle again. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Lastly is the Film Censorship Act 2002. Under the Act, the Film Censorship Board of Malaysia, also known as LPF, can choose to ban the whole film from screening to the public or cut and mute certain parts of the film if the film violates one of the 4 areas, which are security and public order, religion, sociocultural, decorum, and morality. In the case of filmmaker Mahi Ramakrishnan, LPF officials arrived to the Refugee Festival in 2017 to order her to censor some parts of her documentary Bo, which is about human trafficking. The censored parts include human trafficking, showing government officials, and religion. Without censoring it, she was not allowed to screen it in the festival. We think that documentaries like Mahi brings a certain message to the public and help the nation grow, and films are unable to show their full message if some scenes are cut. It disrupts freedom of expression because filmmakers are seen as making films for fun. Therefore, Film Censorship Act is there to limit them for what they can or cannot shoot. This results in needing to be extra careful on what they can or cannot show on screen, while also not having the freedom to educate the public despite having valuable information. Therefore, we hope that the law can change to allowing films without censoring as long as the filmmaker can prove that their film can bring a certain message to the public and improve nation growth, and also limit to different groups who can watch if necessary, like U, P13, and 18. The Freedom Film Network believes that not all films should be treated solely for entertainment and commercial purposes, but as treated as the role of nation building. And by that, we end our presentation. Thank you so much and have a nice day.